Very few people could be happy about the clandestine discussions that may or may not have taken place over the past year involving certain clubs to create a closed football league comprising of the wealthiest names across the top 5 nations. A super league is what they're calling it, but effectively it's a cartel of the super rich, a group driven by asset gathering and entitlement. That's what this particular project amounts to, but in some ways, the time may be right to introduce a better competitive balance to European football. But this latest proposal, or seed of an idea, is not the way to achieve that. In fact, it's an embarrassment for the clubs who've been named as leading the dialogue. Why else would the denials have started? We know nothing about it, is the message some clubs are releasing, but smoke rarely billows out of a chimney unless there is fire of some sort. At best, this looks like another attempt to squeeze more money out of governing bodies and TV broadcasters. Yet the concept of a Super League itself isn't the main issue, rather the introduction of a closed league, an alien concept to developed and sophisticated football nations, would remove one of the key elements of football as we've known it for the last 100 years. Relegation is painful, especially in the age of inflated TV deals. Any structure that is closed will allow the big clubs to keep hold of their financial advantages. But football is, if nothing else, a sport that thrives on the prospect of aspiration and what might happen. Why else would the English structure have 92 clubs, most of which live for a time when they can achieve something remotely remarkable? Take away the possibility of a team climbing the divisions, creating romantic stories like Wimbledon, Northampton, Watford and Bournemouth, and you hit at the heart of the game's reason for being. Creating a closed shop, 20 years without relegation for the chosen few, is selfish and self-serving, but it could be so different. To a certain degree, we already have a European Super League. It's called the UEFA Champions League. Just look at the final stages of each campaign and the same names appear with monotonous regularity. There are few romantic stories in the Champions League. It's an elitist competition that is compelling, but only when it reaches the final stages. As the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Juventus and Paris Saint-Germain become richer and richer, buying players from each other and sending transfer fees higher and higher, the chasm in wealth becomes wider. These clubs are, simply, far too wealthy to be challenged on a sustainable basis, a situation which is, by all accounts, accelerating. That means that in Spain, France, Italy and Germany, the prospects for 90% of the clubs is to be cast in the role of a supporting act. While a visit from Real Madrid will bring valuable gate receipts to a smaller club, it is just one game a year. So, the question is, can these leagues expect to prosper long term if they are already, in all but name, closed shops? Structural changes, including a Super League and cross-border regional leagues, could develop more competitiveness to geographies that are dominated by this handful of elite clubs. Take Real and Barca out of La Liga, and what do you get? A more democratic league for sure, perhaps financially poorer, but if clubs felt that they could have a real stab at the title and perhaps gain promotion to the European Super League, would that not spark off greater interest and, as a result, attract lucrative TV money? This idea, or any similar concept to recalibrate European football, would need to be the intellectual property of UEFA, not a hedge fund or a group of US or Middle Eastern business people from whom it is suspected recent discussions of a European Super League have originated. A UEFA-constructed Super League is the natural evolution for clubs accustomed to playing against teams that have become their peers. PSG and Manchester City are not building enormously expensive squads to win their domestic leagues, they're aiming for European domination. PSG do not need to spend as much as they have to win Liga. A Super League should be seen as an extension of the promotion and relegation system, hence it would not be a threat, but an additional element of success. On no account should ideas formulated in dimly lit bars, airport lounges and restaurants be allowed to flourish, but it cannot be ignored, or the denials be a signal for the end of the matter. The topic will resurface. This is a warning shot to UEFA and FIFA that the world's most powerful clubs can threaten to take away their drawing power and their financial clout from mainland football. A European Super League isn't an inherently bad idea, but a closed-format European Super League formed by a breakaway group of the continent's most powerful clubs is not in the best interests of the sport.